Hello and welcome back. This is a practice of Yin Yoga at the wall. All you need is a wall and a cushiony surface. It could be a yoga mat or just a blanket spread out. And you can also have 2 yoga blocks for one of the poses, which is optional. You can be fine in this practice without blocks as well. So begin by lying down on your side. Come into butterfly at the wall. Lying down on your side, get your sitting bones close to the wall and swing your legs up. And bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open wide for butterfly pose at the wall. Your feet might stay closed, but for most people, they tend to maybe want to open up like a book, and that's totally fine if your feet want to do that. And your heels also don't necessarily need to be touching. You could choose to rest your arms at any angle, over the head, out to the sides, on your belly. Or if you like the feeling of pressing into your knees, you could do that for as often as you feel like throughout this pose. And now just letting gravity do the work. Gravity and the wall supporting you, helping you rest, gently lengthening your spine, stretching the insides of your legs, and having this initial time in this first posture to arrive in this practice, to arrive here in your body. Connecting with your breath. And feeling the breath in your belly and in your chest, in your ribs. Feeling the breath in your back. Softening and releasing in your inner thighs. And letting the breath become a little bit deeper. And for the next couple of breaths, taking an audible exhale. So inhale, and with a sound. And again. And let the knees come back in and come into figure 4 pose at the wall. So the distance from the wall is maybe good for you here if you feel comfortable taking your left ankle over your right knee, or that might be too much. And so if it feels like too much, then come farther away from the wall. You'll just kind of scoot yourself somehow. Your elbows are your friend here, helping you to scoot. And you can be a foot away, you could even be 2 feet or more away, to the point wherever it feels comfortable to get that left ankle over your knee. And the target area is the buttock on the left side, so the glutes. And so if you're not feeling it there, then experiment with how close you are to the wall, come in closer perhaps, or maybe you cross your leg differently. Maybe it's not the ankle that comes over the knee, maybe it's more like the middle of the calf or something. So feel free to experiment with your angles, to explore your hip joint. This is external rotation of the thigh. And taking this opportunity with all this support of the floor, of the wall, with such minimal effort needed to be here. Take this opportunity to really be present, to really let go and relax into this shape, into this support. Relax into this practice that you are doing for yourself. And releasing the first side. Take a moment with the feet as wide as you like on the wall and just do a little like windshield wipers on the wall. All right, and releasing to second side, right ankle over the left knee. With the target area here being the right glutes, the right buttock. If you feel it a lot in your lower back, it might be a sign to move yourself away from the wall more. once again, soften into this experience of being supported by the wall, by the floor, by the earth, being held against the earth by the gentle pull of gravity. And slowly release. Once again, let your feet be on the wide side as you move into some windshield wiper moves at the wall. Might feel good to spread the arms way out to the sides here, or even to let them be up over your head. And releasing and coming to one side to set up for half saddle at the wall. And this is where, if you have blocks available, you'll want to have them within reach. So cushioning is pretty important here. I have a cloth mat, and I'm just going to fold it up here. And you can use a folded blanket or a towel. What's important is to have your cushioning be right next to the wall. So no space between the cushioning and the wall. You want it right next to it. And come into a hands and knees position near the wall. And take your left foot up the wall, and the knee is going to come right up close to the wall. That's why it's important to have the cushioning be right there. And now here, you can have your right knee forward like this and start to drop the hips. And the target area, what we're trying to stretch, is the front of the left thigh and hip. So this is where blocks can come in handy to get a little more lift out of the torso to make that happen. Now, if you do this with or without blocks and you don't feel much happening, then your next step can be to come into more of a lunging kind of position with the right foot flat. And then you can start to press back, maybe using the hands on the knee here. And now you might be starting to feel it in the left quad. So we'll set the timer here. And you can also use your blocks to be somewhere like this. So you're really just gauging your angle here. The blocks can help you with that. You could also have a chair in front of you if that works better than blocks. At this point, you might be feeling some discomfort of the top of the foot, the bones against the wall. If that's what's happening, use some kind of cloth, anything. Just wedge it between your foot and the wall, because that's not going to go away. And so these blocks can come here. If you want to start really getting toward the full half saddle at the wall, you start pressing into this right foot and coming all the way back. You might get your back all the way to the wall. I don't go quite that far. Some people will reach their arm up and kind of hold on to the wall. And when they get to that point, we call the pose holding up the Great Wall of China. But wherever you are, you can experiment with your angles. You could tilt your hips to the right or the left, with or without blocks. You could be in a little twisting here. So it's on the more active yang side of things as far as yin poses go. And just like our dragon poses, we can kind of explore a little bit more here. Let it be. Just let that yang nature come into the yin. Okay, so now taking it into this other version, which is more of a dragon at the wall. And so it's just a regular dragon pose, but with the foot up. And so we're thinking less about getting the hips back toward the wall and more about dropping the hips toward the ground. So your hands could come in, you could tilt, you could twist here, you could drop your elbows to the ground or on top of blocks like so, come into a gecko. And this sensation might still be in the front of the left thigh, or it might be changing to your right hip, the front leg. And slowly release. And taking just a little bit of circles in a hands and knees position, or anything you'd like to do right now to release the hip and the thigh. And now we'll move it to the second side. So the right leg's gonna come back to the wall, right foot up the wall, right knee to the ground. And this might be where your half saddle at the wall is. If you're feeling a stretch in the front of your right thigh, then you're doing it. Or up on blocks. Or instead of the left knee on the ground, it's the left foot coming to the ground. And from here, possibly bringing the hands up on the knee, or possibly using the hands on top of blocks, or pressing strongly into the left foot to bring yourself back as far as you'd like to go. Great. Now bringing it down to the dragon version. And again, maybe it's hands on either side of the foot. Maybe it's hands both on the inside of the foot and walking the left foot out to the side as much as you'd like. So what we're doing when we do it here at the wall instead of just a regular dragon with the back leg back is that we're getting more into the quads on the right leg. And you can let it be an exploration, tilting the hips one way and then the other. You can also experiment with the foot on the wall. It doesn't have to be straight up and down. It could be tick-tocking one way or the other. Or coming down on the elbows. And slowly releasing half saddle and dragon at the wall. And you can put your blocks aside. Take your mat back out if you folded it up. And we're going to come now into legs up the wall pose. So to get into legs up the wall, lie down on your side next to the wall and get your sitting bones right up to the wall and then swing the legs up. Resting here for 3 wonderful minutes. Enjoying the length of the back of the thighs, the back of the calves, and the back of the spine. Maybe you feel the lower back releasing here, especially after all of that asymmetrical back bending that we were just doing in the half saddle and dragon. Moving a lot of energy in the lower back and the sacrum in this very energetically potent area of the sacrum where the powerful energies of the second chakra lie, where much of our life force emanates from. Resting and breathing. And now, from legs up the wall, just bend your knees. We're going to move into some inverting. So if you are having any cervical spine or neck issues or any concerns about being upside down, you could skip this next part and stay here in legs up the wall pose. Otherwise, let's explore, starting with the feet flat on the wall and then coming into a lift of the pelvis. If this is hard for you, you could try scooting away from the wall first. So just experimenting with lifting up and then rolling back down, using the wall for support. And see how it feels. And you can consider lifting up higher, maybe walking the feet up and coming toward something that looks more like being sort of upside down. And so the back of your neck might start to get a stretch at some point. Or you'll listen to your body. If it feels like too much on your neck or anything, then you could just stay down here. You could hang out and roll up and down. If you're feeling okay about having the hips start to come up over your shoulders a bit more, you could start to move it toward something like a shoulder stand, a supported shoulder stand at the wall. Maybe having the hands be supporting your lower back. Maybe one leg or both legs want to think about coming over into a snail pose. And if that's entirely too much for you, you're just going to hang out with your legs on the wall somewhere and explore your spine that way. If you do come into this snail pose, you can keep your hands at your back or extend them along the ground or have them up over the head. And your feet might touch the ground or they might not. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is stretching the spine and the backs of the legs. That's the target area here. And you can experiment with whether your hips are moving toward the wall more, in which case you'll probably feel it more in your lower spine, or moving away from the wall, in which case you'll bring the sensation up your spine, maybe more into your neck. Now, if your feet have come away from the wall, we're going to start to come back and bring your hands to your lower back and then your feet to the wall first. And then you've got that nice control to lower yourself down. So return to legs up the wall pose and take one more minute here. Any position, legs could be straight up or you could bend them in some way, just resting after that inversion activity. Feeling the energy that's moving through your body at this point in the practice. There might be quite a bit of energy moving through the spine now. And now open your legs wide for dragonfly at the wall. And again, your choice what to do with the arms. Maybe they're straight out to either side, maybe they're up over the head, maybe they rest on the belly. And the rotation of the legs is another variable you can play with here. Some people like to rotate the legs externally, so the toes point more toward the ground. Some people like to have them more in. And so in general, in Yin, we just want to do what feels relaxing, what feels like a relaxed orientation or rotation of the legs. But for different people, that might mean toes pointing toward the floor or up toward the ceiling. So anything that happens in your body, it's all good, and every body is unique. Feeling the stretch, the sensation that's happening here in the inner thighs. If it hurts your knees to be in this position, then you can try bending the knees a bit. Being farther away from the wall with the hips as well might help. And now bring the knees back together. Draw the knees in toward the chest. You could maybe press your feet into the wall. And just take a little rest here. And now frog pose at the wall. So once again working into the groin, but this time with bent knees, feet flat on the wall. And you might like being real close to the wall with your hips right up against the wall, or you might want to scoot away. So we want the stretch to happen in the inner thighs, inner groin, and for some people that happens better when the hips are way up to the wall. For others, it happens better when you make some distance. So you decide. You can walk the feet farther away from each other or have them closer in. You can let your toes angle more outwardly or not. Play around with all these different variables as you find your unique frog pose. You could use your arms somehow, rest them on the inside of the knees if you like that feeling, or just rest them outward on the ground or at any angle that you like. This is a wonderful way to get into this area of the body, the groin, the inner thighs. We have these postures on the floor, of course, the frog and the dragonfly. But there's something about being able to let gravity do the work in these wall versions that is really quite luxurious. Draw the legs back together. Once again, rest. You could hug the knees in. You could use the wall if it works to press the feet into the wall while hugging the knees in. Or you could rock side to side on your spine. And now using the wall for a spinal twist. So if you have moved away from the wall, you might want to come closer and then take the knees to the right. So the feet are on the wall and you'll extend your left arm out to the left side. And you'll decide as you settle into this if you do want to scoot away from the wall or if you want to have some different angles here. Arrange yourself so it feels like the wall is really kind of anchoring you by anchoring your feet in place. And so when we do the twist like this, we are working with more of a tucked pelvis. It's a more tucked version of the twist. a more rounded spine. Releasing the twist. And you can walk your feet over to the other side. Adjust the hips as you need to be comfortable twisting to the other side. Reaching the right arm out to the right side. slowly bring the legs back up to the center. And moving into a final relaxation position, which could be legs up the wall, or if your body is feeling ready to be flat and not be at the wall anymore, then you can come into Shavasana on your back. So rest on your back or with legs up the wall for our final relaxation. Noticing what happens in the body now as you rest and integrate all of these various directions that you've moved your hips and your spine, using the help of the wall. Feeling this rebound from the whole practice. What is happening in the energy body? How is energy moving, changing? Maybe there are feelings of warmth, tingling. Maybe the sensation of energy is kind of thrilling or excited in a way, or maybe it's more deeply restful and relaxing, like pulling you in with a gravity of restfulness. Maybe there's a certain part of the body that's feeling very active right now. Letting yourself enter fully into this experience of being aware of your energy body. And now starting to come back to your breath, taking a deeper breath or 2 or 3, and slowly re-entering awareness of your body, awareness of where you are here on the floor or at the wall. And you can stretch your arms overhead. Take a big yawn. And when you're ready, just roll over to the side. And come on up to some kind of a comfortable seat. Placing the palms together in front of your heart. And chanting Om one time. Exhale first. And inhale. Om. Namaste, that's our practice. Yin Yoga at the wall. I hope you enjoyed this practice, and if you'd like to go deeper with me, check out my membership site where my community of yogis follows a daily yoga schedule and immersive programs in Yin and Yang yoga. You can meet up with us there at devidalyyoga.com. And take a look at the first pinned comment down below where you can find my latest special offer. And if you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my latest yoga videos. And lastly, if you made it this far, please leave a comment down below and let me know you were here. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I will see you next time.